welcome to Virtual Concert Hall's live music channel. My name is Chris Au, and I have with me the co-founder of Virtual Concert Hall, Anna Ospenskaya. Welcome.
Thank you, Chris. Good day, everyone. Welcome, and thank you for joining us for the Magnificent Nine program.
Absolutely, and we will be your hosts for today's show. This is part 5 of the documentary of Beethoven Symphony No. 5, written and narrated by Lawrence Rapchak, created by New Media Productions Worldwide and Virtual Concert Halls, and produced by the Architects of Music.
And we are so grateful for this incredible collaboration, which is fueled by our unwavering passion for connecting musicians and audiences in live events and music news from around the globe.
Immediately, the second theme appears in the clarinets and bassoons, also very genial and elegant, and also beginning with that dotted rhythm figure. With a gentle viola accompaniment under it. There's definitely an old-world promenade character to this theme. It's very courtly and graceful. But this is exactly the point at which that mysterious quality first enters. The music seems to hover. But listen to where it leads. This blazing, majestic march. And I love that low C in the cellos and basses. And it emerges from the gloom, and then it fades back into it. Once again, Beethoven is so far beyond the normal realm of musical expression in this second movement, which is totally overshadowed by the rest of the symphony. So let's briefly review what just happened with this gentle promenade second theme. And that dotted rhythmic figure that started it suddenly gets us off track into the mist, recalling the first movement. And no surprise, it's a diminished seventh chord that makes all of this possible. But the entire orchestra now enters with this same chord, except that the lowest note is altered from A down to A flat, which also alters the function of the chord. In fact, it now sounds exactly like our standard dominant seventh chord on A flat, which should resolve like so. Curtain. But instead, Beethoven stuns us in a blaze of glory, resolving this chord like this. And the second theme, formerly so graceful, now transformed into a triumphant procession in C major, almost an antidote to all of the C minor Sturm und Drang from the first movement. But this momentary glory fades with that same dotted figure that has been so prominent, and the music slips back into diminished seventh gloom. There's the dotted rhythm upbeat, and it just hovers now in a series of disorienting harmonies that sustain this air of shadow and mystery very odd. There's almost a mystical quality to it. Then a sudden crescendo, and 3 octaves of E flat. E flat being the dominant, leading back to the tonic A flat. And this closes out the first major section of the movement. But this unexpected, eerie, mystical passage we've just come through is so remarkable, and it's such an important element in the overall spirit of this symphony, that we should hear it now with the orchestra. And the second major section of the movement that we now hear is almost an exact repeat of what we've heard up until this point, so it's very easy to follow. So we've had the opening lyrical theme with its slightly austere accompaniment and its closing fanfare triad. Then the woodwinds extend it, as do the strings with this. Then the second promenade theme. Its transformation into a procession in C major, followed by the hovering mystical string harmonies. So Beethoven now essentially repeats all of this to form the second major section or panel of this movement. But there are some changes, and since this is a theme in variations, the main theme is now elaborated by the violas and celli, and those isolated E flats that we heard now leave one clarinet hanging over this new florid variation. And once again, these strings extend the theme. And we come to expect this string passage after each variation. And Beethoven plays on our expectations, as he will do something very special when this passage makes its final appearance. You'll see. But for now, we hear those repeated cadences in the strings, answered an octave higher by the woodwinds, and then all together. This all seems very formulaic, like there's a prerequisite number of formal bows in this courtly music, like, "After you, Professor." And, "Oh no, I wouldn't dream of it, dear doctor." Okay, then everybody together. Like, let's all bow together and have done with it.
Let's all bow together, right? At the end, the courtly behavior.
Yeah, and I think Larry infuses a lot of conversation and rhetoric into the music, which I think is actually very necessary, because maybe some of these devices are not well understood now in this modern context of this sort of, no, after you, no, let's walk together. And once you put words into that, it's so obvious that's what it's doing, or it gives you a really beautiful image of what it is.
Yeah, every sentence he says evokes a lot of imagery, and some of it historic, some of it universal and eternal. But I wanted to ask you, Chris, for a change. You've been asking me questions, and you're welcome to ask me more. But I'm sort of an insider of this project, of course.
You're an insider. Very good. Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm very close up, and so my judgment is very detailed, of course, and involved. But you're seeing those as a musician, a professional musician, and also, a very passionate audience member and supporter, but you're on the outside a little bit. I just want to get some impressions from you about it.
My impression of this whole documentary series so far, especially we're in part 5 now, is that I think, well, first of all, I've already shown one of my students part 1 of this. And I think and she's just 10 years old, but I think it's a really good way to introduce this kind of music where you break it down and then you get to hear it again. And there's piano little parts, so you can almost imagine yourself, maybe if you're a bit more advanced, playing it as well. I think he takes lists or whoever's transcription of the symphony and puts it in. So you feel that not only is it very practical and hands-on, but what I love about what Larry does is he adds narration, narrative, rhetoric, imagery, and along with the video editors, gives you this sense that the music isn't so static and you just sit there as an audience member still and waiting for it to pass by you. You feel like you're part of the action. You feel like you can really immerse yourself. And I think that's one of the best things for audience members to feel as if they can be immersed in the music. I often tell my audience members not to watch me play. I'm not really interested in being an actor on stage and showing the music through my facial expressions or ways I move my hands. That's sometimes aids the way that the performance is, because it's obviously a visual performance too. But I think often about what draws me to the music is the insight, the character, the narration, and the story that it's trying to say and tell, and the emotions that are coming across. And I think what Larry does really well is he pinpoints very accurately what these emotions are. So when you're listening and when you're listening to it again, you're hearing nuances, you're hearing extra details, but it doesn't get in the way academically. It just feels like it's adding more trees to the forest. And so as you're walking through it, you're admiring more of what there is, and you feel like it's a familiar place to be and a place you want to stay in. So that's sort of where I'm at in terms of how I view it.
Yeah, that's very interesting. You say that because, of course, there's now an abundance of various reiterations of symphony and lots of recordings of the symphony. This one is we're very grateful to have this audio on license from Naxos. It's a great performance of the symphony, and of course you can see all the details and the descriptions of it. But I find it also very unique, and it was very unique to work with Larry's storytelling. Although, I don't know about you, I'm pretty sure you took a lot of music history courses in your study. I took ungodly number of music history courses. Can't even count how many when I was a student. And I remember some of them were very informative, and back then there was no internet, so I couldn't Google the information, so I had to get it from the course teacher and or from the library. And so getting the information was really important. But some teachers went in the direction of what Larry Rapchak does, and that was years ago when I was a very young person. I still remember those lectures when it went beyond just informing future professional musicians of what's there and what the history context and all that information. It went into this narration and story where all these historic elements and all this knowledge just becomes a support for being engaged in the story itself as the composer tells it. And I think that's the magic of Larry's narrative, plus his incredible voice, plus the subtle and elegant sense of humor he includes in
Absolutely, because he highlights so well. Like, one of the most amazing thing I find is it's so Beethoven for him to take something that's graceful, like very elegant, a promenade, and make it majestic and bombastic. And it's the drama and the contrast. What's really cool is if we were to pause it at some point in the movement, like maybe a resolution in A flat major, and then ask the audience or ask your students or people sitting in the classroom, hey, what do you think comes next? What's Beethoven going to do next? You have the theme. You already know what he did before. And I'll give you a clue. It's a theme and variations. what's he going to do next? You know, and I think this kind of thing really stimulates the imagination and the creativity of the students. But also, what's really cool is then you get to see the genius of Beethoven when what comes next is just, oh, of course, that has to come next.
Yeah, it's so unexpected yet so perfectly placed. Every turn Beethoven takes from A flat major to C major, right? Those are conflicting harmonies which you're not even supposed to have next to each other at his time, the core of the classical era. But then, just like you said in the previous program, it's amazing how Beethoven's twists and turns, they're unexpected, they're surprising, they're strange, sometimes weird, even like those chordal progressions, eerie, but they feel like that's exactly how the story should go.
Yeah, and it's interesting, and I would love to ask you what you think it's about the way drama unfolds in this. Do we really need this much drama? Like, you know, suddenly diminished chords and in the woodwinds, and suddenly it's this, and then you have this great C major, and then we don't know what's going to happen. Like, do we need that, or why is that more important than just let's just sit in A flat major and something beautiful like that for 6-7 minutes? Why do we have to have all this drama? I'm curious to know what it does to you as an audience member. Is this what makes Beethoven great?
Yeah, I actually would like to pose that question to our audience and encourage everyone to please head to the comments section, whether on any platform, wherever you're watching, and we are on all platforms, all around, all the normal one, very standard YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and all of these platforms, and also on many music performance, management, music education, and other related platforms all around the world. All of those have chat sections or comment sections. And I would like to take Chris's question and offer it to our members of the audience to see if they might have an insight and a response to that. And the question was, let me try to
paraphrase it. Yes,
paraphrase it and save if I make it wrong. The question was, there's so much drama, so much unexpected, so much peaks and valleys in this second movement, which traditionally is a slow and contrasting movement to all the drama in the first and next movements. Now, do we need all that drama? Why not just sit in a very peaceful and pleasing A flat major for 7 minutes, duration of that movement? Why all this drama? Did I say it right, Chris?
Yeah, that's exactly it. You really paraphrased it perfectly, because I'm thinking a lot about this because composers often write music, and artists and creators create masterpieces or pieces of art, and you often need to be really immersed in a certain emotion or the drama of life in order for you to produce something. And why do we need art? Or why do we need someone to emulate that experience and then for us to experience it? Why are we continually drawn to great movies which go through highs and lows? And why is it that we are drawn to those great stories, even if we know how it ends? Like you've probably heard Beethoven 5 many times, and yet listening to it again and again, it just, how it's going to go, but yet it's attractive.
Yeah, you're so right. You know how it's going to go, and you know how it's going to end. It's the same for a lot of great film and other pieces of art, novels, which we read again. What's the point? What's the reason, right? For me, that would be, and always is, I know how it's going to end, but I want to experience the journey one more time.
Mm-hmm.
The path it takes. And the turns and twists of the events and what I feel as they unfold. I don't know, Chris, do you want to share what you think why we need this drama? Or should
I don't know,
we
I'm exploring
maybe leave it
it
until the next program? So,
well, the next program we talk about theme and variations, and I think that's going to be very exciting. So stay in tune for part 6, because Larry dissects for us what's happening in terms of the structure of this entire movement. But and we can explore this again in the next part as well. But I've been thinking a lot about how when we watch actors in a movie or in a theater go through certain emotions, we know that they're acting, but we also know that they're trying to immerse themselves in the drama of life or drama of whatever the story that they're in. And we participate in that insofar as the acting is supreme. Like if it's a good actor, if it's someone who really embodies those emotions, those words, those feelings, the meaning behind the drama, then we experience it. We feel that, and yet we know we're not part of the story. And yet, because of our human condition, the drama of human life, we also participate in it. And it gives us a sense of hope, relief, empathy. I don't know, I'm exploring this idea of it, because if we could feel everything that the musician, Beethoven, the actors are all trying to emote, then we go through the story too with them. Yeah. So I'm curious to know what people think. I'm curious to know, because I'm also exploring it as well.
Yeah, me too. I'm very, very curious to see if we maybe we'll get some comments from people watching these programs, and we would like to open this discussion. Why we need all that drama, and how do you feel? What's the point of core experiencing the story, the drama, the emotions
Yes.
in the art? Why not just experience your own? Why we are so drawn to the artists who basically retell same eternal emotions, maybe in a different context to the story.
Yeah.
What's the point of all of it?
What's the point? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very good question. It's almost a philosophical question of why we are artists in general. And yeah, it's a great question. Now, we are going to wrap up by thanking the team and our collaborators from New Media Productions, Virtual Concert Halls, Architects of Music, and of course, Larry Rapchak, the amazing narrator behind this documentary series.
Thank you, everyone, very much for collaborating with us. And I want to thank our audience for your continued support and attention to these programs. And I would like to invite you again to be part of our storytelling. Share your thoughts, and we will be watching those chats and the comments boxes for comments to come. And again, thank you very much, our team. Thank you, Chris, for
thank you
co-hosting
for these
with
questions.
Yeah, and thank you all these wonderful people who make these films and these programs possible. You see their names on the screen. And with that, we're going to say goodbye, but not for long. We'll see you again soon in the next part.
Yes, for sure. And for all our current and future events, please go to our website at soundespressivocompetition.com. And to learn about our productions, please go to virtualconcerthalls.com. We are grateful for your support, and we'll see you for part 6 of our Beethoven 5 documentary series. See you soon.
See you soon.
No matter where you are or who you are, music connects us all. We started with a dream, but now we are paving the future. Welcome to the Sound Espressiva Global Competition. Fully virtual, yet bringing musicians closer together than ever before, now on a global scale. True live, inclusivity, diversity, connection, community, an extraordinary array of judges. Get noticed by companies all over the world. Prizes, scholarships, performance opportunities. Apply to be a part of the most exciting congregation of artists like nothing you've ever seen before. We guarantee quality and leave no musician behind. We can't wait to hear you on the virtual stage.